Shalom, shalom, Shabbat shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. Of honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone for teaching us the truth, and salutations to the sincere Akim and Aqua, if they may listen. May the blessing of election be over your house. My name is Brother Raquai. I'm back in here with another lesson, and for today's lesson is it's going to be a bit of an exhortation lesson. So my title of the lesson is "Be Not a Lion in Thy House," right? And what inspired me to do this lesson is the fact that this is an experience that I was going through, and the title of the lesson actually comes from a scripture in the Apocrypha. And so what I want to do, I want to go to that first, and then kind of break that down, and how Ratazah, this would be an edifying lesson. So let's go to that first. Okay, so this is Ecclesiasticus 4 verse 30, and it reads, "Be not a lion in thy house, nor frantic among thy servants." Right? So you don't want to be I guess the kind of person in your whatever your position might be, and I'm just giving that exhortation and experience as someone who's living with my folks, right? So you might be in a particular situation where you might be living with some family members, and they notice that there's something different and unique about you, like the scripture said, wisdom maketh a man's face to shine, right? But they notice that something's different about you, and okay, you don't do certain things like you used to do, you don't eat certain foods that you used to do, and they're picking up on that vibration that you're emitting, right? And the point is to not be as a lion, whereas like a lion is somebody, is that type of ferocious animal in your house where you're causing so much uh um I guess anger, like you're stirring up all these, like these different problems. You're very, very difficult to deal with and stuff like that. Like you might get on your folks sometimes. For doing certain things they shouldn't be doing certain things, right? But you don't want, if you're in that situation where you're depending on family members, you don't want to uh what's the word I'm looking for, you don't want to make that situation difficult for yourself, like overbearing for yourself, right? Especially if you're depending on people in that environment, just to continue to look after you, right? Like this is mostly like an exhortation for brothers and few sisters, who may listen, if you're living with family, or if you're living, family relatives, and so on and so forth, right? You still want to be somebody who's blameless at the end of the day, right? And not make their situations more difficult for you, right? Somebody who's pleasant to actually still be around, right? So that is the point of a lesson. Let's go into the word tyrant. I'm not going to make this video too long, but what I want to do is try to kind of use my experience of some of the mistakes that I've made, that you don't want to do that, right? You still want to use your wisdom, exercise wisdom, right? So in the etymology, this is the word tyrant, absolute ruler, especially one without legal right, cruel, oppressive, ruler, lord, master, monarch, despot, arbitrary ruler, autocrat, um, lord, master, sovereign, absolute ruler, unlimited law or constitution. So somebody who's okay. So the point here is somebody who's cruel and oppressive. So you don't want to seem like you're overbearing, you're oppressing. You have, like, I don't want to say draconian, but you get what I'm saying, like draconian measures over your people, over your folks, right? Especially in your environment, especially if you depend on those folks too, right? This is where you have to use you want to be able to use supplantation, subtlety in this um scenario, right? And you can't be overbearing in these sorts of situations, right? Because you have to start thinking the long term, right? Let's get Matthew. Oh, okay. So this is Matthew 10, verse 16. And Yahushua said, "Behold, I have sent you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be therefore wise as a serpent and harmless as doves." Right? So you want to be able to be somebody who comes as a sheep. Slaki, you want to be somebody who's harmless, like as a dove, right? But you don't need to be you don't want to be a wolf, right? You don't want to be a lion. You don't want to be difficult. You don't want to be like ferocious kind of animal, always biting, and snarling at other people, right? You still want to be, deal peaceably, with your folks, whether you're living with your folks or you're living with your woman, or if you're living with brothers, if you're living with biological brothers, they may be in the world, or whoever it is that you're living with, right? You want to be able to deal peaceably, with these people, right? You don't want to be that. You don't want to be difficult, right? Let's get 7 and 16. Okay, so this is Ecclesiastes 7 verse 16, and it reads, "Be not righteous over much, neither make thyself over wise. Why shouldest thou destroy thyself?" Right? So you don't want to be to the point where you're being, you know, like completely over righteous all the time, right? Because when Yahushua, was on the scene, he wanted to provide like practical knowledge, right? Because there were those men in Israel, especially like these Pharisees, they were always about the law, the law, the law, the law, right? You know, and you might be able to, you'll be in that position where you're actually trying to educate your people, your folks, or whoever it is that's in your immediate environment, about right and wrong. But at the same time, you don't push them, you don't be overbearing, right? If they don't if they don't hearken, you already did what you could, right? So you just leave it at that. You don't constantly try and bite them over what they know is right, because you already did your due diligence at the end of the day, right? Right? Because at the end of the day, if you keep pushing, you're just going to destroy yourself, and ultimately you're going to destroy your situation, right? You don't want to be able to destroy your situation, and make things even more difficult for yourself, but still be able to manage with the things that you have to do in the world, and still be able to come to camp, get edified, and keep going, right? So you don't want to be able to be too over righteous in a sense, right? So in that kind of sense, you just learn to as my elder just informed me, to exercise more humility, right? Because with this knowledge, the knowledge wisdom and understanding, once you get more of a taste of it and you keep going, it starts to puffeth up, right? Let me see if I can find the script just to back up my point. Um, just bear with me 1 second. I believe it's in the Apocrypha. I don't remember the scripture, but essentially, the more the greater the more you know, the more humble you become. Let's see. Oh boy, I can't find it. But but exercising humility, in a nutshell, is what I'm trying to get at, right? So yeah, let's just move on, and Lord willing, that it comes back to my mind. Okay, so this is Romans 12, verse 18, and it reads, "If it be possible, as much as lieth in you, live peaceably with all men." Right? So you want to be able to deal peaceably with the people around you, and not cause your situation, and not cause the people around you to look at you in a very person who's unreasonable, that's very insubordinate, right? Who's difficult to deal with, right? Like, that's something that I have to learn at this point. And I just want to, I guess, share my experience, share my 2 cents, with you in that nutshell, right? Using your supplantation too, right? And right, so let's just get one more, because that all comes with experience at the end of the day. I think it's 2 Corinthians. So here. No. What is it? Here we go. No, that's not it. Oh, Slovakia, my apologies. It's right in front of me. Okay, so let's see. This is 1 Corinthians 9, verse 25. "And every man that strive for the mastery is temperate in all things." So somebody who's balanced, right? So you don't want to be too on the over righteous side, right? And recognizing that the law can't save us, right? Keeping the law 100% can't save us, especially in a place like this, right? Know that they do it to obtain a corruptible crown, um, but we an incorruptible, right? So having our treasures, in heaven, right? Not something that is going to give us something that's going to give us earthly satisfaction here, right? But I just wanted to bring that out real quick. Just a little short exhortation. Hopefully this video was edifying, and it might comfort your brothers and your sisters who are listening and who are in this kind of situation, right? You don't want to be too overbearing, but you still want to be able to use your supplantation to be able to maintain the a good, I guess, working relationship with those around you, right? Because these people are in the world, yes, but you don't want to be too distant from them and gonna kind of completely cut them off, right? You want to be able to use your supplantation, especially if you're dependent on them as well, right? So anyways, I'm going to leave it there, but Yahweh willing, this video was edifying, and I just like to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakah Gadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone for teaching us the truth. The next time, I'll say, Shalom.